After slavery ended, black people finally got the right to vote. But trust me, they didn't just roll out the red carpet. Voting was dangerous, deadly, and downright unfair. Let's talk about what voting really looked like during Reconstruction and how states like Louisiana tried to control it with something called the Returning Board. Now, y'all know I always say that Reconstruction was one of the better times for black people, and it was. But let's be real, that's a loaded statement. Because while it was better than slavery, it wasn't no fairy tale. Yeah, we had the right to vote. Yeah, we were buying land and starting businesses, but at the same time, we were still facing massacres, we were getting attacked for trying to vote, and a lot of us were stuck in sharecropping, basically working the same fields we were enslaved on, still broke and still trapped. So Reconstruction was better, but it came with a whole lot of pain too. If you were black and you showed up to vote, you were risking your life. Mobs would show up at polling stations, ballots would disappear, and if the violence didn't stop you, the cheating might. And that's just regular folks. Imagine what it was like for black politicians trying to lead, but we'll save that story for the next one. So, to deal with all the chaos, states like Louisiana came up with something called the Returning Board. The idea was if an election was too violent or shady, the board could step in, review the votes, and throw out the ones they thought weren't legit. Sounds good, right? Well, not exactly. To make it look fair, they put a few black men on the boards. In Louisiana, you had 2 black men and 10 white men on the board. But the real decisions, those were already being made behind the scenes. The black members didn't have the real power, but they sure caught the blame when things got messy. After the 1876 election, white newspapers called it the 2 Negroes and 10 whites, like the black members somehow stole the election, when really, they were just trying to survive the setup like everybody else. In Louisiana, during the 1876 election, the returning board threw out thousands of votes, saying there was too much violence to trust the results. And honestly, there was real violence, especially against black voters, but the returning board also became political. They could pretty much pick who they wanted to win. And that's how Rutherford B. Hayes became president, after a shady backroom deal known as the Compromise of 1877. And what did black folks get? Left high and dry. Federal troops pulled out of the South, Reconstruction was over, and Jim Crow came marching right in. So when people act like voting has always been this simple, easy thing, please remember, voting for black people has always been a fight since day one. And the system wasn't built to protect us, it was built to control us. Stay woke, y'all. Know your history. Every time you like, comment, or share, you help keep these stories alive. And remember to subscribe for stories that they won't put in your textbooks. Peace.